well to do. Leigh have only lost 3 times this season, Dave. To Wigan, of course, last week, Hull KR, and then Wakefield. So only really in the top 2.
Feels like we're on an aeroplane with clouds drifting by, doesn't it? That's gonna clear, hopefully. Yep, Leigh start the night in 3rd position as Ben McNamara puts boots to ball. It's 3rd against 7th. It could be 3rd against 5th by the end of the night if Hull win. Leigh needing to win to keep...
Yeah, Zach Hardaker, 54 appearances for him in his time at Leigh over the last couple of seasons. There was a big boo all around the crowd as soon as he got his hands on the ball. And Liam Knight.
Well, there's going to be pantomime night, isn't it?
Oh, there's loads of crossover, isn't there? A lot of these players out here tonight have spent time at a number of different clubs. Asiata decides to carry in the early stages.
It'll be interesting to see what kind of a reception he gets, because he was very much the folk hero, wasn't he? Replaced by Isaac Liu, and here's Herman Hesse with the first big carry from the Herminator, taking Leigh towards, Hull towards that halfway line, but only 1 play to go, so back it goes to Will Price, who puts boot to ball, big kick downfield, safely patched by Bailey Hodgson, who runs it back to that 30-metre mark.
Yeah, need a little bit of footwork as well there, just gets past Ed Chamberlain, finds the floor. A decent kick return there from Bailey Hodgson. He does that ever so well. They look to explore this left edge, and talking about players doing well. Tessie New Day, what a player he is.
Yeah, good try last week, didn't he? And generally his carries have been very, very impressive. Well, this fella's settled in well, hasn't he? In the early stages of his Leigh career, Joe Offahengawi, and here's a more familiar face with a bit more longevity, Robbie Mulhern, who carries his side to within that 30-metre mark with 1 to go, and Lachlan Lamb will put ball up in the air. Will Price is attracted to it and clearly taken out in mid-air, so it has to be a penalty.
I don't know what Owen Trout's complaining for there. Will Price climbs high, takes the ball, and Trout just has a little nibble at his legs. Penalty given away.
Good atmosphere, Thursday night rugby league under the lights, and Will Price very nearly seeing lights flashing there as he hit the ground. But the penalty has given Hull FC the chance to tap and start from here. Can they get themselves inside that Leigh half of things in this set? You'd back them to do that, but how does it finish? Knight to his feet and plays. Burrow throws it to his left-hand side. Caesar now helps it on, and SA not really able to get any momentum built there, was he? They were quickly onto him. 2 or 3 passes before it reached him. Maybe that's not the most effective way for him to start. And there's the booze again, which tells you that Zach Hardaker has the ball in hands. Swung across. Cust with a pass away. The short ball here for Chamberlain, who's escaping the attentions of the Boo Boys. Into dummy half goes Lytton. Well, they're booing Asiata.
Well, that's a bit rich, isn't he? Asiata, of course, captain Leigh to that famous Challenge Cup win a couple of seasons ago.
They used to chant his name with great delight and relish. Caesar puts it up in the air. Hodgson is underneath it and safely pouches in, but he's been closed down. That's a good chase by Hull FC, meaning that Leigh have their worst position to start from so far in this game.
Yeah, and it's all off the back of that Owen Trout penalty, Dave. And now it's Hull FC's turn to try and impose on this Leigh outfit.
Well, we love the sunshine, but my goodness, it is dazzling at the moment.
It's difficult, isn't it?
Standing here with hands across eyes.
Oh, that's another good carry from Mulhern offload.
Great support as well here. McNamara tangled with Caesar, making sure that he was stopped. David Lytton with a hand in that as well. Back he comes to Offahengawi. Trying to back into that, maybe get arms free, but he can't do so. So you have to be dragged to the ground, and everything's slowed very much down, which on the last play could cause difficulties because Cust went rushing out there, but Lamb still gets a very high kick downfield and taken again by Price to run it back.
Move back! Hold. Go on.
Here's another of them, Tom Briscoe.
Surrender!
In at dummy half on that occasion, and back again here, another of the ex-Leigh players. It's pushed out of the way on that occasion.
Surrender! Stand again,
There's a clattering on the PA system. A little bit of footwork again, taking Hull closer to where they want to be. Litton up and plays, and back he comes Asiata, and now Caesar just challenging two defenders, but my goodness, they were ready. Hits them like a brick wall, and he's pushed back as well a yard or two. So they've lost a lot of space to find a kick here. Having to go wide, and Price does get that boot away. There's a couple being attracted, Keenan Brand. I think he did get a shout in to make sure that he wasn't run into by Bailey Hodgson. And Hanley takes it forward again.
Some decent kick pressure there from Isaac Liu. Aidan Caesar, he just wanted to try and get a quick play of the ball, but Owen Trout was all over him. And in two plays, it looks like Robbie Mulhern. Oh no, they go the other side, onto the halfway line, just over.
They've got a great depth of competition between them, have they, in Super League? And there's not much between them either. 2 draws in the 11 games they play tells you an awful lot. As Mulhern takes it forward. Here's Ipape. Dashing down this side, and McNamara offering it back inside for Hanley, who keeps it alive well, and Ipape, and now Lamb. And here's Hodgson, almost making that burst, but Asiata just about held on to him, but Leigh coming again here with 1 to go. Ipape with a little kick over, and he had no intention of catching that. He knew that Caesar was always favourite, but in goes that big bruising Papua New Guinean shoulder, and Hull have to start from there.
Adrian Lamb described him as one of the best defenders in the world, Dave, and he doesn't go after teams with real purpose. The catches are on, but the next best thing is to whack Aidan Caesar, and he does so.
Here's Asiata again. He's certainly got a robust figure, hasn't he? Just a couple of defenders bouncing off him, and talking about robust figures. Esse, who I don't think has made any metres after contact so far, has he? He's been wrapped up well by Leigh defenders.
Esse is always looking for an offload. There's only Tavita Pangai Jr. who's offloaded the ball more times than the whole prop.
Oh, this is a good kick. This is a tester. This could be a 40-20, and Hodgson does well to keep it in play. That was an act of desperation, because they were giving up possession deep in their own territory, but for that moment.
A brilliant kick from Price.
It's very nearly a 20-20, wasn't it? Never mind a 40-20. There's a certain ambition in this kick that led to that little bit of frenetic defensive work from Hodgson. McIntosh up and plays. Ipape comes running out of dummy half again, and Ofa Hoenge taking it in, and just tempting with the offload, wasn't he?
Right arm. Lachlan Lamb's kick.
This is Lamb. Up it goes. Price underneath. Waits an age. Down it comes, and Hull start again from deep inside. It's a real arm wrestle in the opening stages here, Kyle.
It is. Both teams are just going set for set, just waiting for either side to make the first crack. So far, defences are strong. There's no one really giving anything away at the moment. 8 minutes gone on the clock.
Lachlan Lamb, often the coolest customer in the house, and watches on with a little bit of intensity here. As his side having to defend. Caesar again is behind the 40, and he's got the angle here for a 40-20 attempt, but he hasn't quite judged that angle properly. And in fact, this could be, well, oh, it's absolutely perfect. It's perfect. Another bounce the wrong way, and that would have been a tap back on the 20, and instead Hull right up there.
Well, that's 2 kicks in the last 2 sets, Dave. One from Will Price, deep inside his own half. Aidan Caesar as well. But it's important that the black and whites of Hull FC now really restrict Leigh's metres and get the first crack in good ball.
Brand with a scrambling run across field, and Leigh again looking a little bit lateral to try and get themselves out of trouble. Ipape skipping out. A little bit of a hand and a push and a wrestle again, but not too many metres made so far, with tackles beginning to run down. Oh, and the offload has gone straight to Burrow. Owen Trout, I think it was, who tried to spin it away.
It was Robbie Mulhern.
It was.
He just tries to offload the ball. Right place, right time.
So best position Hull FC have had so far. A chance to really test this Leigh defence. Back it comes to Caesar, offers it back to Price, and he's just taking the tackle because of an obstruction run ahead of him. Shout from the referee. Chamberlain back inside for Litton. Litton with a push. Burrow's getting in there. Bit of organising going on from Price, and he now has hands on ball. And now Caesar, who goes further left, the step back again from Chamberlain, and away it goes, and away he goes. And he's managed to extricate himself from a couple of tackles, and that will taste sweet against his former side.
And it all comes off the back of two incredible kicks in the last two sets. Aidan Caesar's imperfect kick. And Cade Cust gets the first try of the evening. He's third in Super League in season 2025. And there's an overchase from Lachlan Lamb in the build-up. And an awfully missed tackle from Owen Trout. But the offload here just lands in the arms of Amir Burt. Robbie Mulhern just choosing to offload, but Price onto Caesar. And there's an overchase there from Lamb and Trout. Lamb gets caught, sucked in, and then tries to accelerate to get to Cust. Trout on the inside, not able to make the tackle. Cust just steps off, ducks underneath. And that's a poor try to concede, Dave. But again, all off the back of Aidan Caesar's kicking. We mentioned before the game how important he was, and the boot just shows why.
Yep, Cade Cust the scorer, and some flimsy attempts at defence there as well, weren't there?
Yeah. Again, in the build-up to it, Lachlan Lamb, just rocks in, gets off well. Owen Trout over-chasing, has to make that tackle. And let's pay credit to Cade Cust. He's able to score. It's 4-0. A relatively comfortable kick, you would imagine, for Caesar. Having said that, only operating at 67% this season with the boot.
Well, 90%, he's given the chance. Success probability then 90%, so...
You'd think so, wouldn't you, from there?
Yeah. You'd expect it. Some well-behaved Hull fans behind the sticks as well. They're not going to be trying to put him off. They'll just sit silently until they get the chance to cheer the success, which they can. And Hull lead here by 6 points to nil. Cade Cust with that early try.
Well, we were waiting for either team to crack, but it was the home team through Cade Cust. Cartwright's men are off to a good start. Missed tackle there from Trout. It's almost a grab.
Well, the question is about holding nerve now from Hull FC's point of view, because they had a lead a long time against Leeds, didn't they, last week, and succumbed in the very late stages. And as you've been mentioning earlier, 4 defeats on the bounce so far. To go all the way back to April the 12th, their last win against Warrington. Since then, it's not been great. And they were up there, weren't they? We were talking about, you know, you were mentioning it earlier, the Easter period, Wigan Saints, Hull KR. We were talking about the top 4 teams at that stage.
Yeah, first played second in that Good Friday game. But 4 losses in a row after, 6 wins and 1 draw, of course, that round 4 against Leigh, 22-all. They set off really well, did Hull. They're just having a little bit of a blip at the moment.
Seattle just dropping it back on the inside again, and Radeka takes it forward. John Cartwright shielding his eyes just as we are trying to shield ours in this bright, dazzling sunshine. Caesar puts the kick high, and underneath it is Hodgson, who returns to an efficient Hull line that holds on to his energetic burst.
A decent set after points there for Hull, as Leigh looked to move the ball. Drop McIntosh back under offload here.
McIntosh with the offload and on to Hanley, who carries it on, the good work, and Leigh again are progressing well. Little dash out of dummy half once more, but Hull's defence repairing any holes that might have been there. Pape out to Offhangawi, back on the inside, flicking it back. It's
wild offload there again from Mulhern.
Here comes O'Neill. Some experience of John Cartwright as Ethan O'Neill, who was under his tutelage as one of the coaches at Brisbane. Pape left, and Lamb's boot again to finish the set. He hopes in successful fashion. Harvey Murray just having a look at the in goal there to see if he'd managed to get his foot in, but he hadn't. Searching blindly to get the foot planted. This is Price. He's going to have an investigation for himself here. One of those mercurial players, isn't he, Will Price?
he'll be desperate for a win tonight.
Surrender!
He's only won one game since joining.
He said it's his fault.
No.
Cuss back on the inside again, and Briscoe will push.
5. Move now.
He's a talent. No doubt about it, Will Price.
Go 5, Joe at the back.
And this is the last. And Caesar again clearly behind a 40. And herring across there is Hodgson, but he can't get anywhere near. The kick is brilliant from Caesar. It's a 40-20, and Hull FC again can launch the point of an attack close to their opponent's line.
Yeah, when he plays like this, he's one of the best half-backs in the competition. The challenge for him is consistently doing it. But just look at this. That is absolutely brilliant.
Back foot line.
Great vision, great execution, and crucially, another opportunity for Hull FC. And here they go, Liam Knight, just on the right post.
Well, they've certainly silenced the home crowd for the most part, haven't they, with the start they're making here at Hull FC. Can they add to the points already scored? Caesar pops it back. Price gets it on the way again, but there's no way through for David Litton. Still 5 away. Quickly, Chamberlain's come across here to feed the next adventure. Little reach and a hold, and not much else that Asiata could do there. A dipping pass. Burrow. Price switching positions late-ish over onto that right-hand side, dragging numbers and stepping away from Ipape and running away from Moore, and Price, wow, threatened to rip right through there. Burrow puts it back, and Esse will just go charging over. Not for nothing is he known as the Herminator. Try given, no second opinion needed, and Hull FC have their second try of the night.
Yeah, and again, Aidan Caesar's 40-20 gives them the field position, Dave. And then Herman Esse, after some wonderful work from Price to create a quick rock, defence was scattered. And Herman Esse, how good is this front rower been this season? 6 tries to his name already. Too big, too strong near the line. Just the kick once again, exquisite. And then the quick play of the ball, and a big man arriving at speed. No chance there, Dave.
Well, it is a sport that throws up the most brutal impacts of any sport, doesn't it? But what are you thinking, especially when that fella's coming running at you at this pace and so close to the line?
Well, I think you've just got to almost shut your eyes and throw everything into it. And that's 2 decent defenders there. Isaac Leigh, he just gets in between and scores there. A wonderful start for the visitors, and we mentioned pre-game how important it was for Hull to win here. You know, they've got some decent games coming up as well, ones that they'll fancy. Catalan away, Castleford at home, Salford away. Could head back up north of that table, Dave.
Yep, so tight, isn't it? So tight. Defeat and victory can make such a difference to what position you're looking at the end of any given weekend. Points in the bag is what matters at the moment. Keep yourself in contention. And Caesar's kick will add to his earlier success, and 12 points to 0 is the lead that Hull now have with 17 minutes played.
And Aidan Caesar, how important he's been in those opening 17 minutes as well. You just see, he almost opened up for Price alone, and then he's quick play of the ball. So Herman Esse, the Herminator, register 4 points.
8 tries in all competitions this season. I mean, for a prop forward, that's pretty good, isn't it? The question is, what can Adrian Lamb's side do now to dig themselves back into this game? It only takes a moment, it only takes a try, and balance is restored to a certain extent, but they've got to stifle this whole enthusiasm at the moment. Zach Hardaker making a good 5 or 10 extra metres.
There's nothing between the 2 sides, was there, apart from 2 really, really wonderful deep kicks. And the home team just haven't had any real opportunity down near Hull FC's line.
Here's Burrow spinning it back again, and SASA's in his stride now. Won't be long, you wouldn't have thought, before he's disappearing for a little bit of a rest. A recharge on the bench. Here comes Knight.
Hold.
Hull FC, I think, might struggle to keep hold of him next year. There's talk of him being admired by other Super League clubs. Warrington in particular. Here's Burrow. Price with a kick. looking for height, and it swirls up there. Nobody's quite sure what to do here. The ball's allowed to bounce, and it's taken by Harvey Barron. And the inside pass could have opened things up completely, but my goodness, Leigh was standing and watching there.
Yeah, they just all watching the ball in the air, but Cade Cust looks like he's taken a bit of an injury here. Harvey Barron just keeps that ball alive, and then, Pape, of course, who else?
Well, it was quick thinking, wasn't it, from Cust, because he could feel the impact before it came. So he had to drop and kick, but when that impact kick did come, my goodness, it hurts.
Pape with a little rib tickle of that. I see Cade Cust struggling at the moment.
I stopped it because of your players.
Count the ribs, Cade. Make sure they're all there. It'll be a moment of concern for John Cartwright, because clearly an important player in that pivotal role, but he's going to be okay in terms of carrying on.
Goodness me.
No, it's a natural stop, mate, so don't apply.
Straight under the ribs. Especially, you know, he'll have been relaxed there as well, Dave. It's not like he'd have been anticipating that contact coming in. And he looks like he's struggling here. Out on that far side of the field, just holding that left hip.
Wouldn't you? Wouldn't all of us? But Leigh now with the chance to build again, trailing as they do, but not far away from re-emerging into the contest. Testing you with another of those big carries. What have you seen?
He's just really struggling at the moment, Dave. It looks like, they've dropped the ball. You can see Cust, he's in there. Mulhern, he's come up with a couple of wild offloads. He's worked hard. He's come up with a number of carries, but there's an error there for him. And Cade Cust, I think he's going to end up leaving the field, Dave.
Shot clock on.
The trainer's on again, the physio on again, just having a look at him.
He looks very uncomfortable.
Yeah. And like you say, the hit to the ribs, and it just seems to have discombobulated his body line there, hasn't it? So maybe he's feeling in the hips as well.
There's the mistake from Mulhern. Asiata just chopping him underneath, and then Cade Cust landing on top. It looks like he's trying to run this off. I just wonder if it's almost
head in.
I dare say like a dead leg in his hip.
Get in, play straight in.
He doesn't.
Straight in, that's good,
A hematoma is what I'm trying to say.
That's what Hull's record's been. You've just seen that, 40 feet on the bounce. They've not been far off in games, especially last week against Leeds, where they'll feel mightily frustrated that they couldn't pull it off. And now it's a penalty they've got as well. Cust is coming off.
We're doing well.
Laidlaw who's coming on in his place, but Cust has gone off, and that's a big blow for Hull. They're kicking for goal here. Aidan Caesar's decided to have a pot.
Yeah, smart choice as well. You just see the penalty given away. It's the pull on the ball there. And taking two. A good option given where we are in the game. It's Jack Ashworth who's come on. It's very difficult to see with this sun beaming down in our eye line.
Well, it's almost disappearing over the stand now, isn't it? So we will get clearer vision very soon. Well, this is a big moment, because 12-0, if he kicks it, becomes 14, and doesn't take the greatest of mathematicians to realise that's a 3-score lead that Hull suddenly have. Just an element of comfort they're building into this.
It's really silenced this crowd, hasn't it?
Yeah. They were up before. They were bouncing. They were dancing. Loving the atmosphere, but it's all just lulled a little. Caesar rocks back. He's certainly got distance on that, and he has got accuracy as well. 3 out of 3. And what a scoreline with 22 minutes played now. 14 points to 0, Hull lead.
Aidan Caesar this time just knocking it over, registering 2 more points, and taking Leigh to having to find 3 tries already if they're going to go on and win the contest. 58 minutes left, of course, in it. There's still plenty of time.
Yeah, absolutely loads of time. This is what's coming up this weekend. Loads of great action. That Warrington Hull KL game especially. Challenge Cup dress rehearsal, Huddersfield against Saints tomorrow night. You've got the choice there. Whatever you fancy watching tomorrow evening. Loads of NRL action as well, and so we roll on into the weekend. Just lick your lips at what's below there, at the matches that are coming up, and in the meantime refocus on what's happening on the game here, because that is a carry by Hardacre.
Wait.
Chamberlain cutting in. Up and away by Burrow. Decent little run out of dummy half there. Wants to play it quickly, and Chamberlain is keen to support that. Well, they've travelled a decent distance in this set, having got the ball back from scoring. And then on the last, Price puts it up in the air. Hodgson, he just looked as though he'd lost it a little as it was coming down at the last moment, but he does have it.
Hodgson did incredibly well to take that behind him. There's a player down in back play. I think he collided with a Pape. I think it's Ethan O'Neill. A rough defence there from the home team. After conceding that penalty, those 2 points, LFC have just rolled down the other end of the field.
Well, the Leigh fans trying to attract the attention of the referee, asking him to stop the game, I think, because Ethan O'Neill is getting treatment for that facial injury, but it's not the doctor that's on. When the doctor does come on, the referee has to stop the game, but it's not the doctor at the moment.
Yeah, there's plenty of blood pouring out of his face here. Yeah. Tackle 5.
Last play. Lamb with a run on the carry, and then the kick at the end of it. Lewis Martin will just allow it to drop. It's 40-20. What a mistake from Lewis Martin, and the sag of his shoulders tells you he knows that's a big blunder. Should have been diffused, should have been held back in possession. Instead, it's Leigh who get a great attacking position here.
Yeah, and hold it ever so well until the last play. Lachlan Lamb able to kick the ball. And goodness me, Lewis Martin, I'm a real fan of his. I think he's an exceptional young winger. He's made a mistake there, and Leigh have got a real opportunity here. They're 5 metres away, Dave. The first time they've been down this end of the field in 24 minutes.
Here they come, the Papi again. Picks it out, Liu. A little sideways move of the ball to Robbie Mulhern, but Hall have it covered, have it ready. Papi again, glancing left and right. Where's he going? Into the heart of it. Offahengawe, back to Ipape. McNamara now, along the line.
Oh, sloppy.
Collected off the bounce by Brand. Trying to make more out of it than it deserved, and very nearly did so as well. But they've still got loads of plays here. And they've got another 6 because the referees just restarted the tackle count. And Hughes, who's on the field from the interchange bench, shuffling ever closer. Ipape. Back to McNamara. Offahengawe now invited to show his strength and power. 3 defenders doing their job. Ipape again, dances right, Hughes is close, but 4 defenders are closer still. He's crawling over the line, he's crawling over the line. Has he got that down? Well, the referee had a good glance at that, decided he hadn't. Ipape comes back again, Liu now, and Lamb with a couple of dummies, and trying to make some space out there, and cutting back inside. Goes McIntosh, Hall's defence recovers well. Right across there in numbers. Ipape pulling it back, here's Mulhern. Has a look, skip of the heels. But that's rather wasted, because nothing comes of that.
Oh, he's lost the ball.
Oh, it's a penalty.
Yeah.
Penalty for a ball steal.
I've seen the ball come out, and Tom Grant's just decided that there was an arm in there. It was a laboured carry from Mulhern towards the back end of his stint. And I think it's Amir Burke.
Captain's challenge from Hull. They're challenging the decision of the ball steal.
Yeah, they go to a captain's challenge. They don't think this is a ball steal, so we're going to the captain's challenge and the video referee.
Captain's challenge.
Captain's challenge, Hull are challenging the on-field ruling of the ball steal. Camera 5 is our best angle. Does Amir Burra steal at this ball? The tackle is complete at this point. Is there any stealing action on the ball from Burra? that there. Tackle is complete at this point. Does Borough steal the ball? We'll see if we've got any other angles that can show us anything on this. Camera 8 doesn't. Also camera 9 doesn't. Just got to work around our angles, see if we can see anything, whether there's a steal on the ball. Can't see on that. And camera 2, see if we've got anything on this from Borough before we go back to camera 5. Is there a steal on this ball from Borough? Can't see the hand on that. Camera 5 must be our best one. But still, does Borough steal this ball? Borough's hands are around the ball. And Borough. Amir Borough. The hand from the Leigh player has already come off the ball at the point that Borough is exiting the ruck. The tackle is complete and it will be a knock-on against Leigh. The challenge is successful. The ball is already lost prior to Borough coming out. The ball's lost, the tackle's complete into Borough. The challenge will be...
Kyle Amor.
Well, my initial thought was Robbie Mullen had lost the ball.
Yeah.
And you can see there that he's already let go of that ball before Amir Borough clears the ruck.
He's got all the angles there. We're going to go here.
Well, their percentages are not too bad, are they, with the Captain's Challenge, Hull FC? Winning more than they are losing so far. And they keep their challenge, of course, having been successful. And there are so many incidents on a rugby league field that you can put in the category of subjective. And when the referee offers it up, or when it's challenged like that, it is so difficult for an interpretation. But you agree?
Yeah, I think they got that one right. And a penalty given away now from the home team. And they're really hurting themselves at the moment.
Scrum breaks early.
And that real opportunity, that golden opportunity for them to register a score, amounted to nothing, and a penalty given away offside from the ruck, from the scrum, sorry. And
well, they thought they were going to be back in their own half, ready for the game to restart because they've scored a try, but instead they're back in their own half, ready for a restart with Hull FC coming back them, and their lead still very much intact as Jack Ashworth with an early carry after his entry from the bench. This is Sam Esse.
Two big bodies from the bench there, Ashworth and Esse. Asiata on tonight.
Knight with a push, plenty of meters after the contact, and he's still going on his knees. Borough wants it played. Asiata right, and dropped back on the inside again for Ashworth, who's thinking about offloading, but suddenly he's flat on his back and wondering how that happened. Asiata to Caesar, and quick hands here, and Price with quick feet as well, and the pass away for Lewis Martin to score another in a season that's proving really successful for the young winger. 15th of the year, a third of the night for Hull FC.
Yeah, they're off to a brilliant start. Lewis Martin, of course, a couple of moments ago he gave away that 40-20, and he hits them back, responds well. But Asiata and Price just running the show on this play. Wonderful ball out the back, Caesar, and then the show and go on a Myler Hanley, and the space is made, and Lewis Martin scores his 8th try of the season. Price, he's just electric. The change of pace, the footwork, and then the pass on the end of it was a simple one, but he created it all. And you're right, Hull FC have just hit Leigh with everything, and they've got no answer, Dave.
No. It's all competitions, that 15. I think it was 8 in Super League, wasn't it now? But Challenge Cup, Super League, he's been prolific so far this year.
He's an exciting winger. Him and Harvey Barron. You know, last season when we were watching Hull, and Sometimes it was like watching a car crash.
Yeah.
But those two were, you know, they were fantastic. No wonder why they've both been locked in on new deals.
Another young kid as well, Jack Charles, who was in the 21 again this week.
Yeah,
so, you know, he could be re-emerging as a first-team potential. I think he had an injury at the start of the year, which just put him behind the 8 ball. Here's Caesar. He's been perfect so far, but this is his biggest challenge so far. Has he met it? No, he hasn't. Just wide. But 18 points to nil, Kyle. 18-0 here. I don't think many inside this ground were expecting that.
No, certainly not. You know, that narrow defeat, that Ryan Hall try in the dying embers over at Headingley last week. And they come here with a point to prove, and boy, they've done that. As we just see Price's neat work for Martin to get over in that corner in half an hour gone. And there's a real drop in intensity in terms of the crowd in and around the home team.
Well, a week ago, Leigh found themselves in a fairly perilous position against Wigan. They couldn't turn it round, but they showed character. They showed character. Something their coach complimented his side on at the end of the game. The way they kept in the fight. They need more of that here tonight now.
Yeah, they got back to within 6 points. I think it was around 28-22. So then Wigan, of course, do what they do really well and usually snatch those tight games in the last 10 minutes. But you know, whole 93% completion and an offload here, and they're on the front foot again.
Great offload by Knight, wasn't it? Burrows scrambles another 10 metres or so. Leigh's defence has to do, in effect, another tackle. Asiata's pass away, and Caesar's right up there, but his pass was poor. Did he get a touch? No, it didn't. Referee says that was fine. Hanley drops on it, and suddenly Leigh have a chance to change the direction of the game.
Aidan Caesar was furious there with Davy Litton.
This is Tua Tabaki. Pompey with a pass away and use along to Lamb, and Lamb with a short pass, and trapped, clattered high, the referee decides.
Jack Ashworth was coming across and catching him high. The penalty given away. It was on Owen Trout, a short ball from Lamb. Jack Ashworth on the inside, just catching him high as Davis. He looks to get 5 metres away from Hull's line.
Davis has put them there. Leigh threatening. The Pape picks up, switch of angles, turns it to that left-hand side. Lamb gets the pass out as well, and Trout. But Hull's defenders respond. Tessignew. Lamb again. Isaac Liu, and Liu almost pounding through. Another set because he was held down. Lamb with a double pump, pops it up at the top and straight into the hands of Harvey Barron. What a leap from the young winger.
Full stretch as well, Harvey Barron. They created some ruck speed, did Leigh, and Lamb tries to play off the back of it. And the young winger on the far side of the field, once again, just kills the play. He stretches to about 10 foot.
Hold, Ben, hold.
Had he got over the top of him, it was a try, so it was an important leap.
Wait.
I suspect Lachlan Lamb didn't anticipate that kind of height being reached. But opportunity spurned. Esse gets a pass away. So not have a chance to advance again.
Another offload from deep inside their own half from Hull.
Substitution for Hull FC coming on for tonight.
This is the last. Caesar just puts boot to ball and hopes for distance. And gets distance as well. So McIntosh will bring it back. Those defenders getting up there as quickly as they can.
There's a real challenge here for Hull now in the last 7 or 8 minutes of this half.
He's got it away, he's got it away. Pape, downtown.
You're downtown, you're ahead of the ruck, mate. It's a penalty, Pape's downtown.
In front of the ruck when the ball was offloaded. So even though the ball went backwards, he started that from an offside position. So that's why the penalty's been given away.
Well, just as I was mentioning there, the changes that Hull FC have made. Esse, Jack Ashworth and Barnforth out there. There was a challenge for them. And now, in the blink of an eye, there's a challenge for Hull. And I'm not quite sure why that was given.
No.
Because that looks fair game to me.
Must have been the previous play the ball that he was in front of the play. There you can see, he's never onside until the next play the ball. If you're in front of the play the ball, which he was to the previous play the ball, you're not onside until the ball is played again. So well spotted the referee, keeping a beady eye on proceedings.
Stand Isaac back, hold! Oh, well done, Isaac, good line.
Bamford's on the field. Ashworth trying to make a dent.
Two! Move, Owen! Hold me, wait there! Wait!
Deneve Bamford back inside again. They stopped booing their former favourites. Instead, the Leigh fans are worried that they might be coming.
Three, move off the legs!
More points here.
Hold!
Chamberlain. Now it's Price. Siatwell on the line to Caesar, who tries to put the brakes on. And putting the brakes on, he slipped over, and as a result of slipping over, he was caught high. And it's one of those that frustrates the Leigh fans.
Well, it is, because they're going to take two from me and make no mistake about it. It was Tui Tavaki. Aidan Caesar decides to hold on to the ball. Jack Ashworth overruns him. Sorry, it's Trout. Oh, that's harsh. That is harsh.
Not a lot he could have done there.
Yeah, look, the letter of the law is that he's made contact with the head. Let's have a little listen to what's going on here.
When he goes, I'll talk to him. Okay, mate. I'll tell you what, then. I'll speak to you after the kick, because he's entitled to be here. What can I listen? Sam McCon. Let's go, mate. Where is it? Yeah. Just here, mate, yeah.
Well, thankfully, it's nothing more than a penalty, but even at a penalty, Leigh are feeling aggrieved.
Yeah, I feel the frustration from the fans there, but I also, have to feel for the man in the middle, because the letter of the law is there is contact there with the head. Trout almost pulls out of it. There's very, very low contact there, and there's not really sure what he can do.
But it is a low threshold now in terms of penalties being given away, even yellow cards, for that kind of a situation.
Oh no, there's not enough intent or force in that. That's probably why it's just a penalty. But it's harsh, isn't it? But it is what it is, and we play on, and Aidan Caesar will probably knock this over for two, and it'll be 20 points to 0. And a brilliant start.
Well, there's
for John Cartwright. Yeah.
There's a happy man, isn't he? I think if anyone had said you've got a 20-0 lead with 3 minutes to half-time, he'd have bitten your hand off. And this is the opportunity to take that 20-0 lead. The whole fans behind the sticks are cheering. The Leigh fans are booing in frustration that was given, and booing in general frustration at their team's performance so far tonight. And Adrian Lamb will have plenty of words to say, I'm sure, at half-time.
I'm not too sure he can rescue it at this point. A 20-point deficit is an enormous hill to climb. You're going to be baying for everything now.
Tom Grant has taken over as pantomime villain at number 1. Zach Hardacre will be relieved.
Move, pull back!
Apologies, by the way, if you picked up any swearing in the background.
Two, move now, lost it off the legs! Hold me, go, two. Nice.
Knight.
Three.
He's been enormous this evening, sorry. Liam Knight. Still out there. Asiata, another one. This time he decides to carry.
Four.
John Cartwright knew what he was getting when he brought him over, didn't he? The big pop forward. Having worked with him at Manly.
5. Move, red line!
Bamford up to the halfway line. Not much further. This will be the last. Caesar again entrusted with the kicking duties. Sticking it up there. Caught again by Hodgson, and we know how exciting a runner he is. Given the opportunity, but he's not given the opportunity there. But it is a penalty. Holding on too long.
And the intent from Hodgson to find some space in between two All FC players. He wins his side a penalty.
Let's go, lads, yeah, John.
There's a set here that'll start 45 metres away here. Oh, no. Pape's come up with a horror.
and just given the initiative straight back to Hull FC.
Well, when it rains, it pours. And Pape comes up with a rare mistake.
No, you see it, no, you don't.
Yeah.
Hold that line, don't jump early. Let's go, let's go.
It's just over a minute to go in this first half, which has been disastrous for Leigh, anything but from Hull FC's point of view. Hull FC into this on the back of a poor recent record, but just at the moment, it looks as though they're going to rectify that as Ashworth carries.
Move back! Hold!
Are there more points in the offing before that hooter sounds? Here's Price. Making a bit of magic. There was a collision off the ball there. The referee's not willing to give the obstruction. I think Owen Trout went looking for that. And here's Knight.
4, move! Adrian, wait! Wait!
Barmforth.
Leave him! 4.
Price. Big, long pass to this left-hand side, and Davy Litton trying to put some footwork on, and Edwin Pape missing his man on that occasion, and looks as though he might be hurt as well. Hull FC carry on without him. Asiata goes, and Caesar cuts back on the inside. He's got support, and Sam Esse is over to finish. What about that? What about that? The timing is perfect as the hooter sounds. It is a 4th Hull FC try in that opening 40 minutes. Have they built now an unassailable lead?
I think they sure have. Sam Esse, a try last week over at Headingley. It was his 50th career appearance as well. And he's got another try. And it's the work from Aidan Caesar. Asiata on the back, the space is created. An inside ball. And the big man goes over. Sam Esse scores a try that perhaps sees this game off already, dare I say. And Leigh, they've absolutely capitulated.
Well, look at the delight amongst those black and whites. Well, they will have a nice, cheerful talk before they go in at half-time. John Asiata leading the conversation.
26-0 is a hammering, Dave. In 40 minutes, 26-0.
At home.
Pay credit to Hull when they've had their opportunities. Boy, have they taken them. And he's been at the heartbeat of it all.
Caesar settles. Should be a gimme, is a gimme. 26 points to 0. At the start of the night, we built this as a rematch after that dramatic opener between the two back in March. At the moment, Leigh want to rewind. They want to start again. They have to start again in the second half because Hull FC are utterly dominant here, looking to end their losing streak, looking to climb several places in the league table. At half-time, it's Leigh 0, Hull 26. I don't think he would have believed that at the start of the night. We'll be looking back on that first half in just a few moments' time. Thing about this Friday night, from a Hull FC point of view, not from their point of view, is that Hull FC are winning here by 26 points to 0, but those young Leigh fans will be hoping for a fight back in the second half. Kyle Amor, do you see it coming?
Yeah, I don't. You know, I think Leigh will register a couple of scores, but I think the damage is done from a Hull FC pack that's just completely dominated their opposition. And they played off the back of a high completion rate and a wonderful half-back display for an opening 40 from Aidan Caesar.
You know, Kyle Amor, or Little Ray of Sunshine as he's known to his friends. This could be the most classic second half we've ever seen.
Well, look, I hope
the fight back of all fight backs.
I hope it is, but I just don't see it.
Here comes Trent. I remind you, I think we were watching the Warrington game together and you wrote that one off and we nearly had a sensational finish.
Magic weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
3 tries in 7 minutes.
So basically, folks, don't listen to what Carl's going to say. Make your own judgment. To be fair, though, I think most fans would agree. But, there's always that but hanging in the air, isn't there? Here comes McNamara with the kick away. And Hull FC back in possession in the form of Lewis Martin, a try scorer, one of the 4 try scorers in that first half for Hull FC. And we don't have Jenny here tonight, so we don't get the benefit of hearing what the coaches have had to say. But what do you think they would have had to say at half-time?
Oh, I think, look, for Hull FC, it's more of the same. You know, just keep going forward, keep completing high, keep ending the sets well. The kicking game from the 2 half-backs, prior to obviously Kane Cuss leaving, Will Price in there as well. But for Leigh, I just think physically be more dominant, win your opposite numbers, and just try and get down the other end of the field, because I think they've only had about 4 or 5 play the balls inside their opposition 20.
This is the last, and Caesar has to be sharp here with that kick away. Taken in by McIntosh. This is Hodgson trying to put some footwork on. Stretch the will of those Hull defenders, but it's not for stretching.
Substitution for Hull FC.
Pepe. Those Hull defenders have just strayed a little forward there. Just held their line because there's a danger of them being offside. Pepe again. Hughes right in the middle of things. Lamb up to the line before he throws it away to his left-hand side, and New hands it on to McIntosh, who's searching again, and Trout is coming threateningly. Just running straight into Matty Laidlaw. Trying to bundle it over. Leigh fans are baying for blood at the moment. They want something to go their side's way. McNamara again with that delivery right to the last, just putting question marks in the Hull FC defence. Pepe, McNamara, sharp hands from him, a little kick towards the touchline, but off balance, and Hull will rescue possession back again with Lewis Martin.
Yeah, Davy Litton there just doing enough to put Lachlan Lamb's kick off. He doesn't quite get the connection he was hoping for. And once again, Leigh down this end of the field, an attack comes to nothing. Having said that, it's not a bad place to turn the ball over, mind you. I'm sure he would like a little bit more on that kick. And it's up to them defensively now to get after Hull FC here.
Good thing about rugby league is you can't just shut up shop, can you? You can't build a lead and go, right, that's it, we'll be really, really defensive here. With ball in hand, Hull FC will still be looking to create. Maybe not taking too many risks, but certainly looking to get more scores on the board. Hodgson with the return.
A bit of a scratchy kick there.
Well, he's lost the ball. Well, Briscoe making the tackle there. I thought he was trying to ball steal, but...
Knock on.
What are you doing, Lock on? Are you going to challenge it?
Stands out, lock on.
Well, not challenge. I thought Briscoe was trying to steal it, but the referee's giving it a knock on. There's no challenge. Leigh do still have a challenge, but none forthcoming.
Time off, mate. Did you come on shot, Richard? No, mate. It's a consequence of the tackle for me.
It's only Hodgson with the first mistake of the second half.
If you deliberately drop off, and
it's inside of Leigh's territory.
But that's not the case in that, mate. It comes out of the consequence of the tackle.
Well, they've run out of time. I mean, they're still arguing the point here, but they've not made a challenge and they've run out of time.
They probably could have won that one. You just see Tom Briscoe, his left arm. I think he makes a play for that, Dave.
I can hear you, though, so we'll go for now. Yeah, I can hear you. Let's go for now. Yeah, I've got you, mate. Let's go, lads, let's go then. We're going to go now. Water off, please. Water off, please, let's go.
A little bit of a problem with the communication between referee and touch judge. It's quite amusing when the referee said, I can't hear you at all. And the touch judge says, well, I can hear you. And the referee says, well, as long as you can hear me, which suggests he could hear him after all. But anyway, there's some problem down there. But Hull FC don't have a problem. They have the ball. And they have the chance to go again here. It's Davy Litton. Here's Bamford. Leigh fans, as they often are, you know, refuse to be quelled with what's happening on the field at the moment. They're still providing good noise here.
Two. Move. Oh, still got it. Hold.
Bamford.
Still got the ball. Two.
Knight invites Esse to carry this time, and Sam Esse, another of the try scorers in that first half, right on the hooter, just plunging the dagger into the hearts of Leigh with that. Price with a short pass, referee says play on. Chamberlain came through at pace in a rush. Leigh just about deal with it. Price, Caesar, step by Briscoe. Playing in the centres tonight, of course, is Tom Briscoe. This is Bamford. This is the last play as well. Price just chipping it up there, and big leap, but it's been knocked on. Well, Litton got high, but it's a knock-on, and Leigh get it back.
There's a decent take there from David Litton. He's just trying to almost promote that ball over the top of his head there, with a mile of Hanley all over him. And he comes up with the mistake. And Leigh survived that Hull FC attack. Well, they've got 90 metres to roll up the other end of the field if they're going to get anything in this set.
Well, Leigh needing to score. It's not over yet. Technically, they're on the ropes. Well, they can throw some counter punches here, but they need to help. That helps,
yeah. Sam Esse giving away the penalty. And it'll be Leigh with an opportunity here just to get into the territory of Hull FC. And I felt that, you asked me before, is there a way back? And, whilst I still don't think that is the case, I do think it's important that they register a score in the next couple of sets.
News we're getting, by the way, from the touchline is that John Asiata suffered a lower leg injury and is unlikely to come back on the field. So that ain't good news from Hull's point of view.
No. Asiata is one of those players that has the ability to carry it as good as any other middle ball player, like a half-back.
Lamb with a short pass, taken on by Trout. 3 gone, 3 to go. Ipape, Trout to his feet, now Lamb. Hughes immediately turning, looking, Ipape with a little bit of trouble. Caesar played it in, it's back to 1. Leigh have an attacking position here, and 6 tackles to make it count. Ipape looking right where McNamara was waiting, but he's come left instead, and it's a big drive in by Tuitavaki, but having got there, he's then forced backwards. Hull fans encouraged by that defensive effort. Ipape now, it's not a great pass. Lamb loses a bit of ground. Looks to find his poise again, but just runs into Briscoe. Not the greatest of deliveries from dummy half. I don't think Ipape's having his best game tonight, is he?
Oh,
well, there we go. Lamb and Briscoe, former teammates.
A little open hand there from Lamb into the face of Briscoe. Just lights the touch paper. Briscoe seeing red.
Well, the clock is stopped. The referee's getting a bit of a conversation from the video referee here as well.
He's got to be careful.
Yeah, but mate, you're reducing your time on that. Mate, if you play the ball there, we'll say, look, 2, there's a mark. 3, yeah? Wait.
They've just slowed things down a couple of times. Ipape's pass out of dummy half, which put a bit of a comma, if not a full stop on attack, and now this has just slowed everything down and given Hull the chance to regroup in defence. And Leigh still have 3 tackles to go because of that restart, but they've lost the shock factor. Ipape, he's going to try and resurrect his reputation with a dance out and an offload, and he's giving it away. It's just having one of those games tonight, isn't he?
Oh, it's just poor decision, really, from Ipape. He offloads that ball in almost an impossible situation. And Hull FC dive onto the loose ball. Too many mistakes out there from the Leopards. Just look at this pass here, Dave. It's never on. He tries to squeeze it out of a gap. No chance.
Well, there you see the stats as they go. Those completed sets again. Leigh's getting worse, isn't it?
Nice, Jack. 5.
Oh, 60% mark. The kick from Caesar is deep inside his own half.
There's a potential of a 20-40, but in fact I think he was outside the 20 anyway, and I don't think he was concerned about that. He was just looking to get that ball downfield to lift the work rate off the shoulders of his big man, but that has put it right back on again because Leigh have a penalty. Offside, and they're going to be launching another attacking position here soon.
Yeah, Hull FC just inviting the Leopards
Let's go, let's go.
near their own try line. There's still plenty of quality out there for Leigh in terms of finding points. If you gift them field position, do so at your own will.
That's Davis who sets the platform. So 5 to go from here. They need to score and score quickly. And that ball is ripped out. Caesar got in there. Not played at. It's gone backwards. So what a win that is for the defence. They've lost 20 metres there, Leigh.
Caesar getting up hard off his line. And they take 15 or 20 metres off Leigh.
Move by me. Hold.
Pepe. Lamb scooping it out all the way towards McIntosh, but Hull's defence have moved across in good fashion. Lamb, Ipape. This is McNamara. Oh, might have just had his eye taken by the advancing of Lewis Martin. Martin gets on the loose ball, and Hull FC force the mistake again.
Sloppy from Leigh, but great work in the left edge. I mean, the left edge of Hull FC was at all sorts as the ball moved out to the right, but the poor skill on the end of it just means that Litton just dives onto that loose ball. And again, just Leigh at the moment, they're just not even being able to land anything at all on Hull FC.
Well, it's Old Faithful that is the telling sound at the moment, ringing around his stadium. And with good reason. Caesar again, what a game he's having. Ball back on the inside, Litton's carrying. Now it's the last, Caesar. Well, Will Price had to hurry into that because Amila Handley was right all over him. The leap is good. Everybody's onside in the chase. And Leigh are starting 5 from their own line.
And Sam Esse going looking. He makes good contact there, 9 metres ahead.
Took 2 out with 1 tackle there. Leigh needs something special here, something very special. Such hard work from so deep inside their own territory. Ipape dashing out but running into trouble. 1 last play to go. Lamb again, just forced to kick, just has to kick and hope. 20-40 is what they're looking for, and there could be an offside decision here. No, referee's happy that the ball carriers. No, he's now giving it as a penalty.
There's a penalty there, a high shot between O'Neill and McNamara. The bounce favoured Lewis Martin, and on his return he catches one high. It was wonderful defence from Hull. 20 metres only gained after that Will Price kick into the corner, and McNamara just comes over the top. Catches Martin high, 40 metres away from his own try line. In the last couple of sets, Hull FC have just managed to crab their way up the field. And this kick to touch, you'll see them inside the opposition half.
Well, taking a seat for the second half, and there'll be a level of contentment so far from John Cartwright, whose season start was good. As you say, a little bit dodgy in terms of results the last couple of weeks, but my goodness, doesn't this make up for it?
Oh, it sure does. And it's important that you just try and find a way back on the horse. And they've certainly jumped into the saddle here tonight.
So much rugby league on Sky Sports this weekend, as ever. Plenty of Super League action with some tantalising games, and plenty of NRL action as well, likewise.
I just think, going back to your point there about Hull FC and where they were at last year, they got off to a flyer, didn't they, in 25? But there is lessons and bumps in the road to be had. This isn't a club that can't go from the basement right to the top. There's a process you have to go through.
Yeah. Well, it's been a steady descent, isn't it? 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th in the last 4 years, a consecutive decline, but Some real splendid sign of improvements this time around as Leigh takes it in.
Move, pull back! Wait!
Barnforth switching it back to Caesar, who went for the short pass. It actually hit a Leigh player. It hit Ethan O'Neill, the pass.
Release him, zero! No, back!
And then went backwards, so legitimately Leigh get the ball back.
One, move, find the floor!
That's a relieving win for Leigh. But they still have to find some big carries as Mulhern back out there, crashes one into Ashworth.
27 minutes to play, so they need to score at a point a minute to win the game from here. And things can advance quickly, can't they, when teams get on the roll, but there's no sign at the moment that Leigh can get themselves on a roll.
It took the words out of my mouth. I just don't see anything out there from a Leopards' perspective tonight.
Davis. Lamb again, and Tuitavaki now hits hard and takes a couple of men with him as he falls to the ground. Lamb again, Lachlan Lamb puts it up there. Price anticipates with a leap. Oh, that's a big jump. It's a big jump. We've seen a few big jumps from Hull players tonight. I don't think they've been practicing on a trampoline this week. They've been getting up there, intercepting passes, catching high kicks. It's Briscoe operating out of dummy half at the moment, trying to help his team get downfield.
Stand now, back. Play on.
Seemed to be a bit of confusion. Bamford picks it up and Herman SA takes it on. 1 to go. Price again just giving it the big hoof rather than the angle. Just hoping the ball bounces a little awkwardly to slow Bailey Hodgson as much as he can. Hull players up there quickly.
He certainly returns it with interest as Hodgson. A decent set there from Leigh. This time it was their turn to make the opposition kick from inside their own 30-metre zone.
Penalty, easy one to give. Matty Laidlaw clumsily, after the tackle was complete, crashing into the Leigh player.
Just not clearing the ruck in time. And a couple of penalties creeping in to Hull FC. John Cartwright will be wanted to reduce them as quickly as possible.
Wait for the foot, wait!
This is Robbie Mulhern. Tough time for Leigh at the moment. Exit from the Challenge Cup at the semi-final stage a couple of weeks ago. Loss in the Battle of the Borough against Wigan last week. So their psyche damaged a little, their confidence dented, but that is probably not an excuse that Adrian Lamb would use for this one if it stays as it is. A crushing defeat. Lachlan Lamb. Hodgson coming in.
Move, pull back! Hold him, hold.
Here's New. In fact, it went Lamb back inside to Liu. Davis. There's a little scramble and a dive, a desperate effort, looking for a moment of glory, but not finding it. One at last play, Mulhern, the unlikely dummy half. McNamara sweeps it across. Lachlan Lamb again. Amila Hanley with a chip. It's not played out, so this will be the last tackle when it is complete. Well, Leigh claiming there's another knock-on here.
Tackle, it's a turnover, tackle 5.
Well, he's given a turnover.
Oh, there's some big tackles in that set.
On the 10.
Oh, please, John Cartwright. As you just see, Amila Hanley's kick amounted to nothing. There's a couple of cover tackles in that set. I think Matty Laidlaw just came up with a one-on-one miss, but it was mopped up, and that's what you need. All your players working to keep that scoreline to 0.
Barron plays. Barnforth goes left. Hull with an offload. Well, we talked about not playing conservatively necessarily, but that was a moment where they needed a little bit more common sense, didn't they?
Look, I mentioned, you know, in the first half that Herman SA is right up there, second in the offloading department. If he gets his arm free, he's always going to promote that ball. And he just gets that one wrong. Just dipping in front of Barnford.
Hold this line, Eden. Let's go, head in.
So Leigh get an opportunity again. Field position.
Well, they've had enough down here in this second half to register a score, but so far they've got nothing.
That's new. This is Liu. Well, that's 2 tackles gone. They've still got 4 to go. Davis chiming in at dummy half again. Lamb is so often the orchestrator of things, and Hodgson cutting back and deciding he could have a go, but all defenders falling on top of him. Laidlaw completing the tackle. It's back with Isaac Liu. Well, that's almost a twist through. But again, some desperate defending from Hull FC. Mulhern will have a go. It's a little bit one out. And Hull are able to rally around him, hold him up, and send him back 10 metres to start again.
Yeah, not a lot doing in that set for Leigh. They've got one more player to defend here.
Wait!
McNamara. Lamb to Hodgson. Oh, and again the read there from Harvey Barron.
Great tackle. And again, this Hull FC defence are just offering no change at the moment.
They're giving them nothing, aren't they?
Absolutely nothing. And that'll be the most pleasing part for the Hull FC coaching staff. Herman SASA and Knight have played some big minutes.
Get back right! Hold!
They're up to 5th if and when they win here tonight. And maybe they are making a case for themselves as very handy playoff contenders. And maybe much more.
Move back! Matt! Ben's good. 4. Move, look it back left. Alex, hold. Hold, step back. We'll do this in 4.
It's plowing forward again here.
5. Move, Alex! Going back. Hold, mate, hold. Wait there.
Here's Burrow.
40. I'm here, give 10.
Twice with the kick that's high. Hodgson with the catch, but again, look at that. It's a very straight line that he's running into. So no way to go. Well, I mean, if they do complete the win here, Hull FC, it could be a major point in their season, because look at this, their next 5 games. Catalan away, and we know that they've got a bit of strife at the moment. Castleford at home, maybe they're coming into a bit of form. Salford away, Warrington away, I've had 1 or 2 struggles. St Helens at home. You know, there's an opportunity in the next 5 games. Hull can really register a response here, can't they?
And I think the progression of this Hull FC team, or is it Pape who races around on the inside?
This is a Pape at his magical best, and it's being carried on here by Tessignew, and he's a wrecking ball and he's in the mood, and it's taken them to within 5. Lamb again, popping it back. Isaac Liu just skittled over Ashworth there, the quick ball, and he has found a way through. Anthony Pape doing what he does best, and he's celebrating in front of the whole fans there. That's not gone very well with the black and whites, but an evening of frustration has just given itself a bit of brightness for the Papua New Guinean hooker in front of his own Minister of Sport here tonight. Is that a glimmer of hope for them?
Maybe it is hope. They've got 19 minutes to rescue this. And Pape was the man who led the break. It was his cut up through the middle part of the field before he gave it to Tessignew, who explored that left edge. And you see a Pape getting rid of Hardacre, breaking through SASA, ball back on the inside to Tessignew, who's a handful down this left channel. And the ball was moved back towards the centre part of the field. Isaac Liu gets a quick play of the ball, and Pape, there's just too much of a big space in and around the rock. And he just does Will Price for footwork. There's too much space for Price to cover. With a low tackle. And Amir Burt just can't help Price there.
McNamara has added the 2 as well. It's taken over an hour for Leigh to register their first points of the night. Does it start here, or is that just a blip in the framework of the way this match has gone?
Well, I think this opening 20 of the second half, I think Hull FC have been guilty of perhaps overplaying, coming up with mistakes, coming up with penalties. And they've defended incredibly well, but, you know, they can't just keep inviting Leigh down to that end of the field.
Well, high in Hull's motivation at the moment. You see how effective he is from dummy half. 61.9% average running out there in terms of metres.
And he's off again, and he's well met. Played long.
And penalty again. Yeah, another penalty.
Oh. Again, the first 40 was flawless. The second 22 minutes, there's a lot for John Cartwright to unpick.
Well, as somebody once sang, you can't start a fire without a spark, and it's up to Hull now to try and quell the flames that are growing here. The flames of hope from Leigh's point of view.
One. Move on there! Hold! Hold!
Ipape patiently waits. Lamb. New. Is there a collective belief here? New, great offload, and Ipape goes cycling through again, pushing off defenders, lost the ball, but there's... Oh, it's a knock-on. Knock-on by Hull FC.
I'm not sure about that.
It's a knock-on by Hull. Do you want to challenge that? It's a knock-on by Hull, strict forwards. Do you want to challenge it? Do you want to challenge that?
There's a challenge?
No.
You want to challenge, Aiden?
No, challenge over.
No.
Middle, yeah?
No, they're not challenging.
Shot clock on.
So a little bit of respect paid to the referee that what he saw was what happened.
Well, I thought when he called knock-on, I thought he was against Leigh at first. There's a Hull FC player all over this, for sure. The knock-on there from Litton.
Well, they've scored once. Can they get back-to-back? Lamb, little double pump, New gets it on its way, but McIntosh was reaching behind him, which just took away that moment, that millisecond, took away the opportunity of him going for the corner. Goes a conservative route instead and stays in field. This is Mulhern crashing it in. Hull's defence trying to remain resolute. Ipape short and a reach for the line by Trout. Has he wrestled it down? No, and it's Zach Hardacre who comes up in triumph, and the congratulations of his teammates with a try-saving tackle.
Massive play from Hardacre.
But they go again, Leigh. Still have an opportunity. Ipape gets across there, smartish. Oh, it's gone backwards, it's okay, but they've lost the play. As a result of that.
Release in 5, step back, Herman.
One more to defend here.
That's textbook of play the ball you're going to get.
Liu and Lamb, and this is New. Little soft shoe shuffle from him. Going back on the inside, and then a more firmer approach. What's he done here?
He's just got caught with the ball in hand on tackle 5.
Was that the last play?
It was, yeah. Tessie New. Well, there is scoreboard pressure now here. There's 15 minutes left, and you just think that they need to chance their arm on something rather than just settling it in.
Evan, hold! Go on.
15 minutes and counting. 21 points the difference. Leigh have to score 4 times to get themselves ahead here. Hull FC looking to settle it again.
3. Move on the mark, Tom. Evan,
for a simple, straightforward set of 6 is what they're after here.
Substitution for Hull FC.
Move, Edwin. Back Isaac, hold.
Burrow. Essay. There he travels.
He's been massive tonight.
Huge. Release now, 5.
Like a double-decker bus collecting passengers as he went there, wasn't he?
Give 10.
Kicked away by Caesar. All the chasers are offside.
Oh, that's a brilliant chase.
Well, he must have said everybody's on. I thought he said everyone's on.
Substitution for the Leopards coming off of the 15, Alan Tyrrell to Markham.
Completion rate is still far from ideal from Leigh's point of view.
Yeah, but Hull FC's has dropped ever so slightly, and that probably, given that and the penalties away, that's invited Leigh into this contest. I mean, Hull FC have defended pretty good, to be fair, and that Ipape try. Apart from that, there hasn't really been too much out there in terms of quality tonight with ball in hand from Leigh. Not their night tonight.
Kicking a hope, isn't it? Oh, well, look at that skinny backs, which might just have turned that into a 40-20. Wow, what a freakish bounce that was. It looked well short, but it was anything but. That is incredible. Have a look at this. Lachlan Lamb behind the 30. Look where it bounces and then just takes off at the craziest of angles.
It's a tap. It's a tap.
Tap taken off of Hwenge. Laying the platform. Ipape. Liu to Lamb. Lamb speeds things up. Owen Trout carries the ball over the line. Leigh have a second. Are there doubts building in the minds of Hull FC? 13 minutes left to play. Leigh are making something of this.
Well, it was Lachlan Lamb's outrageous kick. The bounce favoured him, the field position was created, and then Owen Trout scored last week. And he's another one who's got over tonight as well.
Owen Trout.
10 points to 26 it plays. And a kick to come. Then McNamara tasked with reducing the deficit, but the ball from Lamb. Leo out the back, and Lamb just does enough. Briscoe ball watching. Hardacre got caught a little bit too tight. And Owen Trout is able to make the most of that space. And McNamara adds the extras.
There is still time. There is still time. 12:26. Doesn't look as disastrous as it was just about 5 minutes ago. 14 points the difference. It's 3 tries needed now. Once it was 5, now it's 3. And just listen to the noise around the Leigh Sports Village.
Yeah, the line from Mulhern just creates that triangle. Ashworth, Hardacre backing off, Briscoe ahead of him. And Trout just files into that space between Hardacre and Briscoe.
Listen to this, listen to this. Boy, do they believe. And Carlemo's got that smile on his face, as if to say, I am never predicting that a team can never come back ever again. You're getting quite... I mean, to be fair, they're not back yet. They're not back yet. So
yeah, no, come on.
We'll hang on to that.
Let's not get too far ahead here.
But, I mean, we talked about what Leigh need to do. What do Hull need to do now in this situation?
Well, I think they need to stop this for one. A couple of offloads and a few little... It's basically just sped up ahead of them. Penalties, errors. Pape is causing all sorts of trouble, and he's off again. That's a strong carry. Gets them on the front foot. They just can't stop the momentum at the moment.
Well, John Cartwright, who we just saw, I'm sure he's getting a little twitchy now. Keenan Brand carries it towards the halfway line. Still tackles in the bag, plenty of them. Lamb. Oh,
that's a big error.
Clumsy pair of hands offered by Bailey Hodgson. And inside he will be furious.
Yeah, it just pops the bubble. The momentum was all in their way.
Yeah, I looked at it. I'm sorry if I missed it.
And it's just that he must just have a little lock up, and as soon as he drops that ball, he knows that that's a massive mistake. In terms of the momentum shifting. And I just think for the Hull FC players, some of the senior blokes out there just need to recognise what's happening. And Leigh are going to throw everything at them. And you've got to win that ruck, win the floor, win the contact, slow it down.
Let's go in, I'm here. Rocking, I'm here. Shot clock off, get it now, please.
So Hull will be very grateful to have the ball back in their hands. Just to let that clock tick down again. All things being equal, there'll be less than 10 minutes to play when Leigh get the ball back. Still needing to score 3 times. Oh, 2 tries and goals and a penalty to take us to golden point.
Help! Leave on the mark!
Hardacre.
4. Move, everyone back!
Laidlaw carries in.
Hold.
The cry will be nothing fancy. Let's just get through the basics here. Let's just see this one home. Oh, Pape came hunting with that shoulder, and
like a missile.
Chamberlain was very grateful that he didn't find his target.
Wait!
Price.
I'm here!
Up it goes. Hodgson. And timed by Barron, hits his man once the feet are back on the ground.
It was a really good chase from the right edge. It was a sprint. And that's what you need. If you're going to try and see a game out, you need everybody working extra hard, and the right edge does so, led by Harvey Barron on that occasion.
There's Josh Charnley on the field, you would have noticed. That's a penalty. Again, it's a falling player. But that's the way the game goes now.
He loses his footing, and Chamberlain doesn't miss. It's not a dirty player by any stretch, is Ed Chamberlain, but the slip just means that he can't drop his levels in time, and he does catch him high. The question is we're going to hear any more about this, because from the initial eye it looked pretty bad.
Well, yeah, he was slipping. I mean, mitigating circumstances, plenty of those. Let's hear from the referee here. Oh no, is he? Is he going to be talking? No, he's still having that conversation with the video referee, who's having a look at the evidence on the replays before we get any further action. Here we go. Let's hear from the referee.
Two mitigations of that. It's a rapid loss of height. It doesn't meet the threshold of high level force. So it's downgraded to a penalty. There's two mitigations of it. It's a rapid loss of height, and then makes contact with the head. It doesn't meet
downgraded to a penalty. Sensible.
Yeah, definitely. The speed at which the last replay showed Ed Chamberlain coming in 100 miles an hour. There's a rapid loss of height as well. It makes it incredibly difficult for him to adjust. And here's a penalty. But again, it's another penalty for Hull FC.
Yeah, they're giving plenty of those away, haven't they, in this second half. McNamara is off a Hengawi. It's a good carry by him, and again he's trying to get the arms free, and he's still going.
Get back!
Ipape, slow. Lamb. Hudson inside, change of footwork here from New, still causing a problem. Barrow gets the shoulder in and puts him down on the ground. Here they come again in the shape of Robbie Mulhern, and look how close they're getting again here. Ipape waiting here. Liu with a pass away. Off a Hengawe, shrugs off a couple of defenders. Mulhern juggles it backwards. Hudson picks it up and sees the gap, sees the light. But it closes quickly. One last play. Ipape out now. McNamara. Oh, it's past Lamb, but kept alive. Still have it, little chip over the top, but that's caught on the fall, and it's a tap back on the 20. Yeah,
Marla Hanley just rolling the dice, trying to lift the ball over the top and regather, but Will Price is there, and he catches it inside his in goal, and it'll be a 7-tackle set. But again, in the build-up though, just some of the skill, the balls were dipping and behind players. And we saw the importance there of a catch and pass of quality earlier on there, that Tessie New just gets that ball behind McIntosh, otherwise he'd have gone over for sure. And on that occasion it's the opposite edge, the right edge. Just not quite being what we're used to seeing Leigh with ball in hand tonight.
7.5 minutes to go. Briscoe does well to get himself away, and a carry downfield that just again takes the pressure out of the situation from Hull's point of view. Just settles things down nicely. They've been given a fright here, but the strength of their first half performance surely is enough now to see them home.
There's enough credit in the bank for them for this second 40.
Esse had one go, wants a bit more. You'll be thinking about player of the match soon, won't you? Making your calculations. Hardaker's kick over the top. Oh, that's a brilliant take by Hudson. And suddenly he's got clear field ahead of him. How quick is he? Harvey Barron can't get there. Will Price can't get there. Just Charlie has it. Charlie just tries to bundle Briscoe over, and eventually is dragged down. They've gone 85 metres in thrilling fashion. The play the ball is a mess. The ruck is awful. And Adrian Lamb did well just to rescue, Lachlan Lamb did well to rescue that. Charlie takes it on. 3 plays gone. Look where they are from where they started. And another set to go. Tackle can't restart it. Owen Ipape holds, stops, and flicks it away. And Caesar's there instead. It was just a flick out. He hoped a teammate was in close, hot pursuit, but it was Aidan Caesar who gets it.
Yeah, Hull FC are they're on the knees almost. There's so many bodies there just lying in a heap. And a special mention to Lewis Martin, the left edge winger, making that tackle on Josh Charnley, and then Pape just wildly floors a blind offload. But Aidan Caesar's there. The break from Hodgson, the right edge just get all confused. Hodgson races away. Josh Charnley with his first touch of the evening off the bench. And Lewis Martin there off the other side of the field to make an important tackle.
Is he staying on?
Well, some big deep breaths being taken, some in exasperation and resignation, and others in relief. There's a green card here, I think, for Aidan Caesar. Yeah, milking the moment on the ground, the referee's deciding. So he's off for 2 minutes. Well, he's still arguing about it, but can't challenge that, Aidan. Well, I don't think it'll be too damaging that they're a player short for 2 of the last 5.5 minutes of the game. So most of that, Hull FC will have ball in hand. And a penalty. A penalty steers Hull ever closer to that winning line.
Yeah, it's there now for them. 5 minutes left and a penalty given away. They settle eat up another minute. And time's run out. They've had a crack in this second half. And I think it's more being Hull FC that have invited them down, because Hull, look, they've rescued a number of players, they've worked hard, they've had to do an awful lot of try-line defence, but perhaps far too much for John Cartwright.
Let's go. Yeah, Tom. I tackle.
Will Price just needed a fine touch, and that's exactly what he did.
Completely get your point, maybe it's a penalty. Wait there, wait there, wait there, wait there, wait there. Let's go.
Trying to knock the ball clear here with the impact in defence.
Hold.
Desperate attempt to get it back. Well, I hope you've enjoyed tonight, because it's been certainly engrossing in this second half, and there's more to come tomorrow. Look at that, Warrington against Hull Kingston Rovers. Boy, do Warrington need a win in the Super League table, and Hull KR flying at the top end, of course. Sky Sports action at 7:30 tomorrow night. And if you prefer, Huddersfield against St Helens on Sky Sports Plus tomorrow night as well. So a nice feast of rugby league action on it's what Friday nights were invented for, Kyle.
Absolutely.
Super League. 1 play to go.
Give time.
Will Price sticks it high. Bailey Hodgson takes it in, still searching for a path through.
Move back up the line, back, I'm here, back, Liam. Come on, mate, come on.
Well,
that's good defence, isn't it?
Yeah, the burning ambition here from Leigh has just been dragged out of them, hasn't it?
Hold.
Standing start again from 10 metres further back. Lamb trying to make things go. It was untidy, but McNamara's allowed to play on.
Get me far on the rock.
There's O'Neill.
Move, Sam, find me. Hold, Sam, hold.
Liu. Lamb still busy. And double pump, but not only for the defence, but for his own team as well. But that's because there was a pull on a Leigh player. Lachlan Lamb read the situation, but his teammate wasn't there because he'd been pulled back.
Aidan's right on the field.
Yeah, I think it was Owen Trout who just gets taken off the ball. It was Jack Ashworth.
Yeah, he's going to get challenged.
He was there. I mean, he's fell easy tonight, hasn't he? A couple of times. Trout knows what he's doing.
So as you picked up, captain's challenge here. Let's hear from the video referee again. Jack Smith.
Fuller challenging the on-field ruling of tackled without the ball. See on this angle that Jack Ashworth makes contact on Owen Trout before he has an opportunity to catch the ball. The challenge by Hull will be unsuccessful. Restart will be a penalty on the 45-metre line.
Thing is there, Kyle, if he hadn't got a touch, I think it was a forward pass.
Come on, mate.
I'm not too sure that level of contact is enough to knock a big man like Owen Trout down. However, he plays it well and it's a penalty.
Hull's successful challenges get another added to them. And here comes Trout. 3 minutes left to play. 14 points the difference. We're beyond miracles. We're beyond miracles.
Play on! Surrender! Stand up, hold, Zach! Hold, Sam!
Ipapek, all the time in the world to have a look around. Off Hengawi. Hull's defence remains truly committed. Mulhern. Land as well to reel that one in. Trout tries to offload. Again, it's clumsy, and the Hull players are leaping on each other as if the full-time hooter had just sang, because they know even now, even that faint glimmer that Leigh had, even that has completely disappeared.
Oh, well, I think it's the skill from them. It's been scratchy all evening. You just see a lot of passes just nowhere near where they need to be. And Hull survive again.
Let's go. Back in tight, 8 seconds.
A big win this for Hull.
Heads in tight, 5 seconds.
Make no mistake about it. You mentioned there what's coming up in those next 5 or 6 games. I believe that the real difference between last season and this season is Hull FC will not be fazed by any of that that's coming up there, particularly in and around the back end of it. St Helens and Warrington, they'll fancy themselves against them, Dave.
Yep, as we said, some fascinating fixtures to come, starting in Catalan, under the stewardship now of Joel Tompkins, of course, temporarily at least, maybe longer. Castleford at home, Salford away, Warrington away, their next 4 matches, which, in this mood, they'll fancy their chances. There's another offload from SASA. It's a good carry away, and Essay.
Still free.
One too many.
Forward pass.
SASA just dumping that ball. They've been consistent with it. The offloads they've done a number of times throughout the whole 80 minutes. The ones in the second half just haven't quite stuck for them.
And if SASA is so good they named him twice, how does that make SA feel? Not as good.
There's a line in there.
Tight, please. Back row tight. Hold him, Zach. Okay.
Into the last 40-odd seconds of the game. Can Leigh finish with a flourish? Get points on the board. Just feel like they are building towards next week on the back of a performance, especially in the first half, that they'll want to forget quickly. Lam again. McNamara spins it to that right-hand side. Hanley.
Surrender!
Stepping.
Stand, Sam, hold! Hold!
Ipapek. Liu, dummies.
3. Move on the mark! Pull back! Hold.
Just about on the last play here, you'd think. Countdown from the Hull fans. They've made that long journey on a Thursday night to be here tonight. And seeing their side finishing the game with ball in hand. It had been 4 straight defeats before the night began, but you can see from the reaction of Will Price what this performance and what this victory means for Hull FC. They begin climbing the table. For the moment at least, they are up in 5th. Leigh with a defeat that leaves their 3rd place vulnerable to others. As the season goes on, John Cartwright in the middle of that. But that look of disappointment sums up Leigh's night. But it's a night for the black and whites. No grey areas. It's a black and white victory here tonight. And what a win, what a performance from Hull FC.
Yeah, it was. Hull collect their 7th win of the season. And you can see by Will Price's reaction, I mentioned he'd only won one since joining the club. Well, that's the second one, and it moves them up to 5th. And doesn't that start to look healthy if you're a Hull supporter now? Climbing above St Helens, Catalan Warrington, some big clubs in there, and Hull FC sat 5th. And for Leigh, you're right, their place is vulnerable now. Adrian Lamb, the stare from him just tells you everything about his side, what they've dished out tonight. They opened in 40, they were absolutely miles off. Credit Hull FC, they were running white hot.